When you're wrong, you're wrong. And the only thing you can do is swallow your pride and admit it. Hi everyone, it's Carrie, aka Nerdy Girl Curates, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is Manga Monday Reviews, and we're going to go revisit a series I had reviewed early on my channel. And the reason I decided to do a new review on it was because back then I really didn't understand how manga worked differently than Western comic books. And I judged the series on one volume. And a lot of people had come into my comment section and were kind enough to explain to me, like, this is not where the story gets going. You do need to get a few more issues in. This is just laying the groundwork, and if you give it a chance, you'll see. So now I have a rule when I'm reviewing a manga. I try to at least read 3 volumes before I do my review. So the series I'm talking about is the uber popular One Piece. And like I said last time, I only reviewed Volume 1. So I decided to review the entire East Blue arc. So I finished the arc. I'm in the midst of finishing the anime. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest. My opinion has changed. Though I wouldn't say I'm overly excited about this series, it does keep me interested. If you don't know, One Piece focuses on Luffy. Yes, I said his name wrong last time. He is a young, I'm going to say teenager, because I'm not sure what the ages are. I'm sure the One Piece fans will tell me down below. Whose dream is to become a pirate, because of his admiration for another pirate named Shanks. And so he sets off from his village in a little boat to start gathering a crew and get a ship and head to what is called the Grand Line. And along the way, he meets Zoro, who is a sword master, and his goal is to become the greatest swords master of all times. He uses a technique called three-sword technique, and he uses 3 katanas to fight and defeat his enemies. He is more the stoic, honorable warrior type. The next character they meet is Nami. She is a cat burglar, you could say, a thief. And there's a reason for why she is stealing all this treasure. And she says she hates pirates and she will never join pirates, but she's also really good at being a navigator. And her and Zoro butt heads a lot, because he is much more honorable and Nami is more willing to do what it takes to make the money, even if it's not so legal, if you know what I'm saying. Now, the next character is Sanji. I hope I said his name right. Please let me know. He is a cook they meet on a ship restaurant, and he has some unique fighting skills with a lot of kicks. More martial arts style, and he gets drawn in by Luffy to become the ship's cook. And there's also Usopp, who they meet before Sanji. I almost forgot about Usopp, sorry. Who they meet in a village, whose dreams of being a pirate because his dad happens to be one and happens to be a member of Shanks' crew. Now, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but I wanted to talk about the East Blue arc. First off, I want to start with Luffy. And I think this was the reason why I didn't want to give the story a chance. Luffy is very laid back, almost to the point of annoyance. He doesn't seem to have that fear gene or whatever you want to call it, where like the danger response. He will just dive into any situation without thinking it through, which drives the other crew members nuts. And he usually ends up getting them in a situation, and sometimes getting himself in a situation where when they need his help the most, he is not available. However, the ability to see the good in people, and there's certain crew members who have like a very devious past that Luffy chooses not to look at what they've done in the past and decides to look at who he sees as the person presently in front of him, which is one of the things I do like about Luffy. Now, Luffy also has this unique power that he gained through eating something called dragon fruit. Now, his ability is that he is now rubber, and he can stretch his body. He's kind of like this Mr. Stretch-It-Man toy I remember as a kid. He can stretch himself all ways. He can turn himself into a slingshot. He could do all this stuff. And the downfall to eating the devil's fruit is he can't swim. Pretty much when he's in water, the curse of the devil fruit prevents him from swimming, and he just pretty much will sink to the bottom. So anytime he's falling into water, the crew members have to save him. His attitude, like I said, is very aloof. He just walks around with a smile all the time. He could be in like utter danger, and he's just still smiling while the other ones are fearing for their lives. When he does get angry, it's usually for good reasons, and what it is, it's because Luffy, kind of like Zoro, has a very moral compass, where he likes to see the honorable people, and if he sees innocent people being hurt, it pisses him off, which is another quality I like about him. But mostly, I wouldn't say Luffy so far is my favorite character. He's not, even though I know he's kind of the captain and the main focus of the anime. My two favorite is Zoro and Nami, because these two are complete utter opposites. Like I was saying earlier, you have Zoro, who is like that old school samurai who follows the rules of battle, and he's not actually a big fan of pirates, but he follows Luffy because Luffy saved him and he made a promise to Luffy to join his crew. He does not tolerate bad people. He is at odds with Nami, because Nami has this really interesting backstory, which I don't want to spoil if you've never read One Piece or even watched the show, because it was in the show. Why she is a cat burglar, and it's kind of it's sad, and it gives you the feels, which was something I was not expecting from this. I thought this was just going to be an overly goofy manga series. I mean, very cartoony, which it is to a point, but they have these really interesting plots that come up, and I heard it gets even better later, so I'm really curious to see how it goes. But like, Nami's story is really sad, and you kind of see like Zoro, even though he's super annoyed with Nami's illegal activities, he's one of the ones who stand up for her in the situation that occurs. He's also the one who's always like the first to like save her from a situation. It's kind of like, what's funny about Zoro also is he has like no sense of direction. There's an ongoing joke that he can run in a straight line and get lost, where you have Nami, who is the navigator for the crew, and she can get them anywhere, and she's like a master map maker. So it's kind of interesting. You have the guy who's honorable but yet has no sense of direction, and then you have this girl who's a thief, yet she's the one with the best sense of direction. They're kind of like a balanced team when they're together. Even though they argue and fight a lot, you could see there's some underlying respect, and Zoro always feels the need to look out for her. It's also funny when he makes fun of Sanji, because Sanji is this character who loves women. Okay, he's always trying to hit on every girl he comes across that's really pretty, including Nami. And Nami uses that to her advantage to get Sanji to do things for her. And sometimes Sanji will cater to her specifically and sometimes forget about the rest of the crew. And it's funny how Zoro will just sit there and just laugh it off, like, oh, look at this fool getting played by her. But the funny part is, so does Zoro. He puts up more of a fight than Sanji when she manipulates him, but he will do it for her. I also like Zoro's backstory on how he got one of the swords and how he learned how to fight and what motivated him to become the greatest sword master. I know there's more to his story. I don't know how much more has been revealed in the manga and the anime yet, but I get this feeling there's a lot more to him. There might even be more to Nami, because you discover Nami's an orphan, and she was raised by a former Marine that saved her and another girl. So I don't know if there's going to be more to Nami's backstory, but they kind of intrigue me the most so far. There seems to be still some mystery to like them, especially Zoro. And Zoro's fighting skills are just off the chain. He's always gotta like make sure Luffy doesn't go too far, because Luffy will just cause chaos if he's not reined in. And Nami kind of helps Zoro with that and trying to keep him in check, which is the other funny thing about this duo. Now, I don't know if it's like a big brother, little sister relationship between Zoro and Nami or something else, or maybe it's just, you know, the two of them become like the closest to each other in the group. Who knows? But I love Zoro and Nami. Now, Usopp is funny, but he's like that traditional comic relief character in almost every anime. But even he has an interesting backstory. Like I said earlier, his father is a member of Shanks' crew, and he dreams of being a great sea warrior like his dad. And the glimpses you get of the dad's a badass. Unfortunately, Usopp is a coward, but he's slowly breaking free of that. Even when he's the most scared, if one of his friends is in danger, he will jump in to save them. Now, like I said, Sanji also has a backstory. Again, if I'm saying that wrong, tell me. I need to learn how to say these names. But Sanji, you know, learned to cook from another pirate, and he was an orphan. So I know somebody said you're going to find out more about him later on, but don't spoil it for me yet, okay? I'm just getting on Baraka Works. But, yeah, and his flirtation, I don't think it would work in Western media, if you want, you know what I mean? But his flirtation with every girl they come across, but mostly Nami, like, I don't think him and Nami will ever become romantically involved. I could be wrong. There were characters I didn't think would end up together and other animes that did. She just, like, uses it to her advantage with him. Also, the characters they interact with later on are really interesting. The first volume, I wasn't really as impressed with the Marines that they were fighting and meeting Cody. It gets better later, especially when you get into Nami's arc. And I can see why people got dragged into this, because there's a lot. You want to find out what they're going to come across in the Grand Line. Are they going to find the One Piece? It's going to be a while, I'm assuming, because I think, the anime is up to 1,000 episodes, and we're on like over 100 manga issues. Correct me down below, please. They interact with different people. There's some stuff in the anime that I saw that was not in the book, and somebody gave me a list on what to skip, because it was really kind of like not really integral to this storyline, and it was kind of at one point I was like, okay, when is this going to end? Don't do a Bleach on me, please. But the manga itself pretty much sticks to the main plot. They do have these cute little inserts in the manga. One page of Cody's adventures in the Marines, because that was Cody, the first character you meet in Volume 1 that befriends Luffy. And he ends up in the Marines and all his different adventures, which are pretty funny. They dedicated, I think, 2 or 3 episodes to it in the anime, which was kind of like, I don't need this. This could be something like you could just glimpse back at for a minute. It doesn't need its own entire episodes. But they're kind of funny when you're reading them in the manga to see how Cody's advancing through the Marines, because you're getting Luffy's journey and his growth. And I believe Luffy's going to have some major growth, because he's very loyal to the people in his crew. He looks past any of the problems they have from their past. He believes in all of them because he judges them based on who they are as a person, not what has happened to them in the past, not what mistakes they've made. And that's an appealing quality about that character. I know people said, wait till you see what's going to happen with Luffy in the future. Don't spoil it for me, people. Don't. I kind of try to avoid, like, screen prints that are on Google from upcoming mangas or mangas that just came out. I'm trying not to. I know there's a guy named Ace we're going to be meeting soon. That one almost got spoiled for me. Somebody was like, he's very important to Luffy, and I don't want that ruined, so I skipped it. But overall, the story is getting better. I think it's, for me, judging it on the first volume, and then also the art design, because it is very, like, it's kind of got this old school cartoony look to it. You know, like slapstick comedy cartoons I remember watching when I was a kid. So I was kind of figuring that's all it was going to be. But as I go through it, I realize there is a lot of story here, and people have told me the world building gets amazing. And from what I've seen so far, the world building, it's really interesting. I mean, no place is like the last place. And there's character growth in there. I think, like, Zoro, in a way, is the moral compass to Nami. He's the one who always, like, calls her out when she's doing something wrong. And even though she might stick her tongue out at him or punch him or whatever, she still keeps in mind what he's saying. And she's always there to remind him that we're a team, because Zoro sometimes likes to handle things himself because that's what he's used to. Sanji, there's more for Sanji. He kind of, like, came into the arc late, so I'm sure we're gonna get more, but he's always clashing with Zoro too. I don't know if it's just a guy thing because Sanji wants to prove to Zoro he's better than him, or is it because of Nami? I'm not sure. Or is it just because Zoro, like he does with Nami, calls out Sanji when he's being like a perv? And then you have Luffy, who's usually in the background doing something stupid or just laughing at the whole situation. And poor Usopp is trying to fix everything Luffy broke. And Luffy breaks a lot of things. Like I said, he dives in before he thinks out a plan. But I can understand why they're loyal to him, because he is a very good person, Luffy. And they all are. I mean, even if they have some of them have some sketchy passes. I'm glad I did give it a second chance. And like I said, being newish to manga, I should say, you gotta view it differently than when you're reading a comic, because the arcs are longer than some comic storylines. The books themselves are bigger than an issue of a regular Western comic book, and there's a lot of story they pack in, so it's like you gotta read more than one volume. This is what I'm learning, and I do appreciate everybody out there who gave me pointers on this. And and I'm also happy, and I said this in another video, the manga community has been very welcoming. There's not a lot of fighting, but I am enjoying One Piece, and I would recommend it. I'm going to review each arc as I get through them. Right now I'm starting the next one, which is Baruka Work, and I'm going to do a full anime review once I finish the East Blue arc on the anime. But I also want to give a shout out. There's another YouTube channel that you should check out. They're called Gothic Therapy. They cover a lot of anime and talk about a bunch of different things in the industry. I will put their link down below. So check out Gothic Therapy and tell me, how did you feel about the East Blue as an arc? I know it's in the entry point into One Piece, but how did you feel overall? Do you think it was a good entry? Do you think there's other arcs that are better than this one? Is there anything you recommend I should, with One Piece, other stories? Who's your favorite character? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I have a new video up, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.